love you.
Ahora de Cuba la Bella, del Palacio de los Jugos.
Los chicharrones.
Los vecinos aquí se enteran de todo.
Mi vecina es la CDR en Cuba.
Y en verdad no hay nothing that you can do. Chacleteras sin llames con corbata.
Aquí yo vendo hot dog, pero en Cuba yo era médico.
Les saco el dedo y digo Q. Sweet home Hialeah. Solo 30 minutos de Le Fallo. Oh, sweet home Hialeah. I hate your traffic, but I love you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of East 10th Street Boys, or you could call this the producer show. You got Bobby Finstock, Alex the Boy, Evan Posner in the house. How you fellas doing?
Everything good, man. If anything goes wrong, we just like point fingers to each other. Like,
whose fault is it? Which producer?
My hands are off of everything else. You guys got comments and graphics.
Why is it every time I hear that song, I want to go watch Con Air after? I don't know.
Right?
Why.
I know.
Go watch Con Air. I love that movie, but still.
Man, let me just, for everyone who's tuning in, whether you're watching on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, or you're listening onto the Fins Talk Podcast Network, you're tuning into the East 10th Street Boys straight out of Hialeah. We might say Bobby Finstock, but it's Bobby El Gringo here, and you got Alex the Boy, and we got special guest Evan Posner. And if you hear the static in Alex's headphones, that's because he is live from Hialeah. They can't afford good internet there, he is
Canada. You hear us perfectly.
Keeping it real.
Keeping it real, man. We're authentic.
We got fiber internet up here.
But so much to talk about, on East 10th Street Boys. If this is your first time listening, and of course you see the Dolphins headline there. We talk everything Miami, talk about growing up in Hialeah, but it's a very heavy Dolphins show to start us off because it was the 53-man roster cut down today. There were some surprises. There were a couple trades, which was pretty interesting, except for the one most people wanted. I think 99.5% of the fan base wanted, but did not happen, which is, of course, Jonathan Taylor. So we're going to touch on that. We're going to talk about the 53-man roster, see what surprises or what surprised the guys, and we're happy about, what we're not so happy about, and then we'll get into Jonathan Taylor before, of course, getting into Miami Heat and funny questions like we did last week. We had a blast with those, and, of course, Evan is with us, so that should be a lot more fun. Alex is muted, which is the best. Yeah. So, first off, Evan was just on Real Talk Finstock, so if you're just joining us from that show, you know how he's doing, so I'll hold him for last. Alex, how's your week so far, my man?
A little tiring, like I mentioned. We were just doing the football podcast, and my fridge broke before I started, so it was kind of like trying to produce while trying to fix the fridge, but I can't fix it myself, so it's been a little hectic, a little back to school. Obviously, kids are in full motion. There was a lot of rain today here. We're getting kind of like the tail of Hurricane Idalia. So we're okay, but it was just a lot of rain in this area for some reason out of nowhere. I thought it was going to be a little more tomorrow. But, still humid. Hialeah. What can you do? Bad internet, bad connection. But we're here for the cause, for the Heat, for the Dolphins.
For the Dolphins. And, Evan, I know you probably answered this question on the other show, but how are you doing?
Many times.
I'm happy to be with the two of you. Nice little change of pace. I will tell you one thing. This logo, usually I get exhausted by February. I'm already exhausted. They have taken the wind and sails out of me, and I'm happy we have a little bit of a 2-week break. And maybe there won't be any big signings because at this point, this offseason has been amazing for the network, but man, has this team exhausted me. Holy cramoly. I've never re-swiped. I've never pulled down on I've never done that many times. Every call I had today at work, I was looking up, but I was doing this like all day long.
It's like
I wake up
and
and
you feel like non-productive, like you didn't do anything productive that day because you were just scrolling for hours.
Oh no, I wouldn't book my meetings today in the event that we were going to have a breaking news show. Like,
talk about
I got a
commitment.
breaking news show. I have a
Talk
breaking
about
news show coming up, but no,
We should have done a breaking news show for Noah Ibanagani getting traded.
that
Well, like
would have been no
celebration.
because I have a different perspective on that trade.
Really? Well, excuse me.
Yeah.
Let's get this ball rolling here. Let's talk about it, okay? Let's first start off with the 53-man roster. Then we'll get into Noah Igbinoghene, Dan Feeney, both trades for the Miami. That's what I was going to say. I'm the same way. I was scrolling. I kept refreshing. And then finally, when I put my phone down and go do something else, every time I would come back, that's a Dolphins trade. And I'm like, whoa! And I was like, oh. And it's like, come on. You
You started getting more excited because the numbers, mathematically, everything started matching up. And you're like, whoa.
That's why.
Happen.
Look, I don't claim first off, I want to say I don't claim to have sources and anything like that. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, and I'm not hating on nobody. I'm not going to call names out. I see a lot of people say, oh, I have sources on this. It's about to happen. Oh, this and that. It's like they throw stuff to the wall to hope it sticks. My thoughts on it is that the deal is asleep right now, but it's not dead. That's where I stand on the Jonathan Taylor deal. It's not dead. I think Miami will revisit it. We'll touch on that later because me and Evan did talk about that earlier. Evan called me, touched on it. He has an opinion on that.
Yeah.
But which I do think the culture's stupid. If you're
put him now he's going to miss 4 games no matter what. So now,
that's my thing. How can you ask for a first round pick if you're having a miss the first 4 games of the season? But we'll get to that. First, let's talk about the 53-man roster. And I pop this up here. First off, and this is from the Miami Dolphins Twitter page. This is the initial 53-man roster. So yes, things can change. Players that get cut could be signed, maybe another trade or here and there. So this is the initial 53-man roster. We'll start off with the quarterbacks. Of course, Tua makes the roster, obviously. Yeah. Skylar Thompson, Mike White. There was going to be no change there. Blackman. I would have liked if Blackman would have made it because that's like my grandmother's last name. So I was like, oh, that's my cousin, even though obviously I'm white. But running backs.
For those that didn't know, Bobby is white.
Running backs. Myles Gaskin, not traded but cut. Not surprising, but kind of surprising because he survived the last 4 years on the roster. So, good luck to him. I appreciate everything he's done for the Miami Dolphins. He's no longer there. But the guy we've been pounding the table for, the guy we've been excited about, Evan and Alex, Chris Brooks, makes the opening roster, which is exciting. We don't know what's going on with Jeff Wilson, but he also – so it's A-Chain, Ahmed, Chris Brooks, obviously our fullback, Alec Ingold, Raheem Mostert, who's going to be the starter, obviously, and then Jeff Wilson Jr. Wide receivers, obviously Tyreek, Jalen, Cedric Wilson makes it. Easy makes the opening day roster. River Craycraft and Braxton Berrios. Robbie Anderson or Chosen Anderson, however he goes, he was cut. I'm not shocked about that. Here I was surprised, but I should have been because our one and only Evan said it was going to happen. The tight ends, they're carrying only 2 tight ends to open the season with Julian Hill and Durham Smythe. The 2 names he brought up, of course, we knew Durham Smythe, but it was that 3-headed race or 4-headed race. Julian Hill, undrafted free agent, makes the opening day roster. Gotta love it. Offensive line. Gosh, the elephant in the room. Terran Armstead, obviously. Lester Cotton, Liam Eichenberg, Robert Hunt, Austin Jackson, Robert Jones, Kendall Lamb, Keon Smith, Connor Williams, Isaiah Wynn are your offensive line for the Miami Dolphins going into the regular season. Obviously, the biggest thing that I noticed from here, and Evan noticed because we talked earlier, right? He called me. He was just ready to go up, but I knew he was going, is that the Dolphins have no natural center. Not the starting center, not the backup center. It's Lester Cotton and Eichenberg are your backup centers behind Connor Williams. God help us, all. Specialists, Jake Bailey, Jason Sanders, Blake Ferguson, all make it. There's no surprise there. Here's the corners, Eli Apple, Xavier Howard, Calvin Joseph, new Miami Dolphin, traded second-round pick, traded from the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for Noah Igbinoghene. If we would have drafted correctly, Noah Igbenogany would have been a cult. And I don't know if that would be true. But at least if we should have got Jonathan Taylor, we wouldn't have Noah Igbenogany, but whatever. Kader Kohu, Jalen Ramsey, who's on injury until at least December or October, and Cam Smith. Safeties, Elijah Campbell, Deshaun Elliott, Javon Holland, Brandon Jones, Veron McKinley. Our linebackers, Jerome Baker, Bradley Chubb, David Long, Jalen Phillips, Duke Riley, Channing Tindall, Andrew Van Ginkel, and a defensive line, Raquan Davis, Emmanuel Akpa, Brandon Peely, which congratulations to him, another undrafted free agent with Chris Brooks, and Julian Hill, Zach Sealer, who had an extension, and Christian Wilkins, who supposedly turned down a big deal, but he is going to play. He's back on the the good graces. I hope we're going to get into that as well. But Christian Wilkins, also the opening day roster, not traded, even though there's rumors that they were exploring, teams were calling for him. So, Alex, I'm going to start with you because Evan talked about this on the last show. Anything that sticks out to you? First, we'll start off with surprises. Anything that surprises you with this opening day roster for the Dolphins?
I mean, we expected it, but it did surprise me to see Gaskin get cut. But you saw the emergence of Ahmed and Brooks, so you kind of figured he was going to be a casualty. I honestly thought he was going to be traded. I thought it was going to be part of a package deal. I'm actually very impressed when I see that defense on paper. I like the talent that we have. I know there's certain areas that the depth needs to improve a little bit, but I do like the overall talent that we have, and I think Vic Fangio is going to work magic with that lineup with those guys. Offensively, like you mentioned, the elephant in the room, the Achilles heel, aside from Tua learning how to fall, strengthening his neck, that O-line, I don't know why Connor Williams looked like he regressed a little bit. I thought he made strides last year where he's never played center or he was a backup center in Dallas and they committed to him as a center. It was sad to see the regression in some of the preseason action that I did see. I mean, at this point, even Eichenberg, probably the only position you could play him is at center because he can barely move laterally, and every time you see him, it's worse and worse and worse. So I don't know if the O-line as currently constructed can survive a whole season. I'm not going to say anything because there might be secondary moves before the season starts some way, somehow. But if that's the case, we just got to pray that there's health for Armstead. Obviously, the jump in Austin Jackson. Who's starting at right guard officially? Is it Hunt or Wynn?
Hunt.
Oh, so yeah, right guard. You're talking about left guard.
Right guard. Left guard is Wynn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just hope they can gel. Let's hope they can gel when we see them, because last preseason was the same situation, and come week 1, week 2, we kind of saw an improvement. Obviously, Austin Jackson missed the whole season, but I don't know, man. I don't know. That depth at center, it's really alarming in the grand scheme of things.
What depth?
There's no center. No, Connor Williams. I do want to say this with Connor Williams. I don't want to say there's a regression. There's just no progression. As what he does best, he still does. It's the snapping, and especially in the shotgun. That's where his issue is. There's no regression. It's still the same. That's a problem. There's no progression. Now, what sucks is that you say, okay, you know what? Yes, he's the best thing we got. So and we don't have anybody better. So you keep him at center because that's what he does best. But it's what's behind him is the issue. You don't have nothing behind him. You're going to trust Eichenberg, who can't play pro tackle. He can't play pro guard. But yeah, let's go ahead and put him at center. And see
what happens if he's successful in center? Because he doesn't have to move laterally as much as he has to do.
He's never snapped the ball in his life.
Never? Like you would
never.
Think so?
He never played center.
Well, he played snap. He practiced in training camp.
Training camp?
Hey, you said he never snapped the ball. I'm saying he snapped the ball.
Excuse me, I snapped the ball. I snapped the ball this past weekend in the backyard with my kid. Can I go play center?
You could probably can. You're like 6'8".
Eh?
You're 6'8", like two. Come on, you can play
are
center.
An offensive lineman. Yeah, that's true.
How tall? I can't play. 6'5"? I can't play center. I'm 5'10".
Evan, how tall are you? Like 6'4",
6'5"? 6'3".
Oh man, you're the perfect center. You are the perfect center, man.
I know I could do it.
When he told me that one time, he's like, Bobby, how tall are you? I'm like 5'10", with shoes on. He goes, "Oh, dude, I'm like 6'3". I'm like, "Fuck." I'm like, whatever, dude. I'm like,
towering over you.
yeah. I'm like, "Hey, Evan, nice to finally meet you, man. What's going on?"
No, but that's a problem.
But okay, so let me ask you, Evan, because and I know again you guys ran a marathon. I know Rob.
I could do a different perspective though, yeah.
But I want to know your true to form thoughts on the offensive line right now. Look, the offensive line has been an issue for this football team for a long time. Everyone keeps saying every time, when the whole Jonathan Taylor situation, any situation, Dalvin Cook, whatever. Everybody goes, I don't want to, I think we're okay with our running back room. We need to address the offensive line. Yes, in the perfect world, we would address the offensive line so we're all comfortable with it. But the front office and Chris Greer especially has made it known that we are more worried, than in the media, are more worried about the offensive line than they are. And they've shown that. And they showed it extra at these 53-man cuts when they traded Dan Feeney to the Bears. Okay.
Cost them $2 million to do it, by the way.
Traded him. They got rid of the undrafted free agent, who I'm missing his name right now. Thank you. Who was a true center. Of course, he's an undrafted free agent, but still a true center. They move him. All right. And they're going, hey, Eichenberg and Lester Cotton are going to be our backup centers. So
maybe they know something that we don't know.
Supposedly. Hey, I'm not going to say I'm smarter than them. I'm not going to play armchair GM, even though I think it's fair for fans to do that because we pay the tickets, we buy the tickets, we buy the merch. Fans have every right to say whatever they want to say. I don't believe in this whole thing. Oh, you've never been there, BS. But Alex might be right. They probably are smarter than us. Well, but they haven't shown that with these decisions in regards of offensive line. So, Evan, forgive me if I'm making you rehash it.
No, never.
But offensive line, center position. How are you feeling about the offensive line going into the regular season?
Game 1, I feel fine. Game 4, game 5, I might be breaking things. I honestly, I'm okay. The two things I've been consistent on for the last 2 years before getting on Greer, because I've always defended Greer at the time, has been McDaniel's time management and lack of use of the running game and Connor Williams. So now you're telling me last year you had Michael Dieter, who actually has played center. This year I actually said on the postgame show, I'm okay with Dan Feeney because Dan Feeney has played center. So now you're telling me we pretty much have the same offensive line because whether it's Brandon Shell or Kendall Lamb, swing tackles, doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. Pretty much we have the same offensive line we did last year with the same running back room, pretty much in theory, because overall we have a committee. And with the same quarterback, to me, you basically have the exact same offensive last year. And the one area besides the place where you have pretty much the worst depth is on the offensive line. So for me, if God forbid Connor Williams does get hurt, who are you putting there? Liam Eichenberg? Tua will be in concussion protocol on the first play because Liam Eichenberg can't stop a cold. At least Connor Williams can block. Because honestly, outside of Teron Armstead, who's injured, Connor Williams is the best offensive lineman we have. Not snapper, best offensive lineman. He's younger than Hunt, and he's a good lineman. So my frustration is that there's no depth at that position, and that's why I'm frustrated. That's what bothers me the most, is that you took a position today and started cutting Gerard Christian, trading Dan Feeney. And now but the thing is, and we've always talked about this, it's a square peg in a round hole. It's in all sports, whether it's basketball, whether it's hockey. You don't now what do the Miami Dolphins do? They put people in positions where they have never been successful and assume that they're going to be successful because of Frank. What did they prove last year? Did Frank Smith and Mike McDaniel fix Connor Williams' snapping problems after 1 year of struggles? No, he's worse this year. He's regressed versus progress, like you said earlier. He's no better than he was last year. So, for me, the offensive line, like I said, had we gotten a running back, which we'll get to, I would be less concerned about the offensive line. But we know Teron Armstead's not going to last the whole year. He's going to miss a few games. And in the games where he was not there, The offensive line was unreadable. I couldn't look at them. I am terrified for Tua with this offensive line. Terrified.
Alex, we touched on the offensive line. Let's talk about the running back situation. We do know that the trade with Jonathan Taylor did not go down, so they have until October 31st to make a deal. They put a self-imposed deadline, the Colts, to get this deal done. Now he's on PUP, so they have until October 31st. So again, I believe that this deal is asleep. It is not dead. It is in a deep sleep. But as I've said before, and I will say it again, even when it was before with Dalvin Cook, it was before any running back, but with this running back room, I'm comfortable going into the season with this running back room because, they showed that they could be successful if you commit to the run. Raheem Mostert had almost 800. He was 800 and some odd yards, 3 touchdowns. Jeff Wilson also had 800 some odd yards, but of course that was mostly in San Francisco. He had 2 good games, and I think he died out after that. Gaskin's gone. Ahmed showed really good promise in the preseason. We know how we feel about Chris Brooks, and of course, A-Chain is going into his first season as well. But it does kind of get scary because if you think about it, because we know these guys do have injury concerns, okay, and you're worried about the offensive line. But if Mostert goes down and Wilson, whatever happens with him, and then you got Devin A-Chain, Ahmed, and Chris Brooks. Those are your 3 running backs. If the world falls apart, I'm still comfortable with this running back room if those guys remain fairly healthy. I'm talking about Mostert and those guys, and I'm really intrigued by Chris Brooks. How are you feeling about the running back room now that we're not adding Jonathan Taylor to start the season?
Well, from the beginning, we always talked about this. I thought it was a luxury. Well, it's a luxury that you would love to have because it's a luxury. But even when you just mentioned right now, if Mostert misses time, if Wilson misses time, I'm still okay with the running backs that we have. Because what is magnified this preseason is that McDaniel and the coaching staff showed that they are committed to the running game this year. And I believe were they like top 5 in the preseason in running or no? In rushing yards?
Yeah, I think it was top 3.
So, like I said, it could be a preseason, but they show that they're committed. Now, even behind, if we still have the same offensive line technically, last year, what was our average per rush? Was it 4.6, 4.7 yards or something like that? Right?
Yeah, about that.
That's my dog. About
that.
About that, right? So I'm confident no matter what we do in regards to now the whole Jonathan Taylor thing. I don't know if it's productive when it comes to, like you said, if you do like an in-season trade. I know, for example, McCaffrey got traded last year in season. I don't know. I kind of related it to basketball some way somehow. If does that disrupt does that disrupt the season? How far it goes on? How long it takes? Because now he's out for 4 games. Obligatory. He's in the PUP list. So that's the whole dynamic. I mean, you still pull the trigger, but as time goes down, the price is probably going to go down. So that's worse for the Colts, which is kind of like the whole Miami. We're now in the situation with the Blazers and the Colts to see who folds first. I never thought that they would go down to the wire and just put him in the PUP list and not have him active for those 4 games. Because even if you don't put him in the list, you could have him active. And if any trade works out, he's moved. But no one's going to give you anything. He's going to be missing 4 games. Now, it could be a desperate team, but like we talked about, the surprising part is that they didn't get, in reality, even close to the compensation that they were looking for. We talked about multiple second-round picks. They were asking for a first-round pick. I would like to see what the Dolphins offer. And honestly, this trade could have been agreed upon, and the owner just decided not to do it. This seems like one of those Irsay moves that he just didn't want to do it. Because I'm pretty sure they had a competitive offer, not top-notch, but they had a competitive offer if you actually just want to get rid of your player and you want to start fresh. Because now you're having a situation, you have a rookie starting quarterback. You want to have new blood in the organization. A player that is disgruntled, does not want to be there, is not going to sign an extension with you. What are you doing? Those are the situations that now do the Dolphins pivot. Do you see any subsequent O-line moves in the first couple of weeks or any before the season starts? Because that's one intriguing part. When I saw that we maneuvered so far under the cap where we had space, I'm like, wait a second. There could be some pickups that we do here and there. Even the tight end from the Broncos, what's his name? He has a long-ass last name.
Dalton, right?
Huh?
Which guy? The offensive lineman?
Oh, you're talking about
No,
the
no.
tight end. He
No,
got
the
traded
tight
to the
end, the
Eagles.
tight end.
He got
Got
traded to the
got
Eagles.
traded to the
Oh, he got
Eagles.
traded to the Eagles? Oh, I thought he just got released. Okay. So
He
yeah,
did. They
follow-
announced his release, but the Eagles called and say, "Hey, we're interested," so they ended up trading him.
That is awesome. That's awesome. But
Hey, when I saw his name out there, I was like, "Hey, Miami needs to go jump on this guy."
that is
That's how I felt. But that's what the Eagles did, of course, winning teams.
and don't get me wrong. One thing that I do think is a wild card in regards to the offensive line. I feel that maybe the front office is not as worried because we do have now blocking tight ends where they're legit. You're not giving away when Gesicki goes on the field. You knew it was a pass play. So now you have tight ends that are maybe not as talented as pass catchers, but they're legit blockers. And Ingold is also going to help out too, I believe, a lot in the block. So there are fixes here that you can do as long as the majority stay healthy. But to your original question, I'm happy with the running back room the way it is right now. I have no issue whatsoever. If we can acquire Taylor, we go for it. But I'm okay with what we have.
I think the Dolphins. I've been saying the Dolphins. I think are comfortable with the running back room. That's why they didn't really do anything with Dalvin Cook. And I think they were aggressive, despite I think obviously people are saving face. But I think the Dolphins were aggressive with trying to get Jonathan Taylor. But I do believe that it was the owner Jim Israel who was just being a pain and said, no, unless we get a first round pick, we're not going to move him. Well, let's keep him for 4 games on this. Let him sit down on the bench for 4 games. Let's see.
What's the point of this?
Yeah,
like castigating him. Like, oh yeah, you're.
Did you see that he tweeted out about? He said, "Happy birthday to Ricky Williams." He's talking about a former player on their team. Dang well he was trolling
the other Ricky Williams.
The other Ricky Williams. So we know what he was doing. But yeah, I believe the Dolphins are comfortable, and I think and I think that's okay. I don't think they should be comfortable with their offensive line. 2 blocking tight ends or whatever you call it. None of those guys could play center. Connor Williams goes down.
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, no, we don't know. Apparently, the Dolphins don't either. But with the running back room, no, I'm okay with. Again, like I said before, yeah, I pound the table for John Taylor because I believe a premier running back in this offense makes it almost unstoppable. But if you're going through the season with these running backs, Raheem Mostert, those guys, and you don't know what Chris Brooks can do. He could be a hidden gem. Of course, you never know. He's an undrafted free agent. His ceiling is limitless. There's no win or there's no win or lose with him. There's a big win. High ceiling. No,
anything you get from him is good because
exactly. You don't get nothing. It's okay. It don't matter. He was undrafted. I'm not worried about the room. I am worried about the offensive line. But I believe this trade is not dead. So I'm comfortable with the offensive line. I mean, with the running game as it is right now. I would have been very happy with the trade if it went down. Again, I was comfortable giving up a first-round pick for him because I believe this team would have been perfect with him on it because, that's why the running backs are going to do fine because we got Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. That's why it kind of takes the pressure off our running game because if our running game is getting stagnant, then you got the 2 guys out there. If you got a superior running back, then that helps the guys out there compared to them carrying you. You're carrying each other. That's why I was comfortable with giving up a first-round pick. I know people are like, oh, don't give up the first-round pick. We need a draft pick, blah, blah, blah. This draft pick, for me, my argument was just that I felt that draft pick would have been a late-round pick. You're talking about a top 10 pick, if you feel the Dolphins are not going to make a run for the playoffs, that you think they're going to fall off the face of the earth or they're going to have a surprisingly disastrous season, then okay. I won't argue with you. I understand why you would say do not give up a first-round pick. But if you're telling me that you believe this team could make the playoffs and you're not okay with giving up a late first-round pick for a star in his prime, maybe not even in his prime, running back who is 24 years old, ran for 1,800 yards the year before because he was out last year, but 1,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, running back of the year, going into this 3rd year in the NFL. If you're not okay doing that, I don't know what to tell you. I think some people have a different view of where the Dolphins are in the process of the NFL because I think the Dolphins are they're one of those contending teams. They could either be on the outside or inside. We know the Eagles are going deep in the playoffs. Like we knew the Patriots were every year. We know Kansas City's going to be deep in the playoffs. The Dolphins are knocking on the door of the playoffs. They have the potential to do that. We can pretend that we know. I mean, I had the Dolphins going 11-6. We can pretend that we know, oh, the Dolphins are going to play. But there's teams that we absolutely know those guys are going to be there. We know they're going to be there. We don't know that about the Dolphins. You added Jonathan Taylor, you know it. You know it's going to happen. Now that you don't, and again, it could be Jim Irsay, so I'm not going to put it all. I'm just saying. Now that you don't, if Connor Williams gets hurt, and now you have Liam Eichenberg at center, then Terran Armstead gets hurt, and now you have Lester Cotton at left tackle with Isaiah Wynn, and Austin Jackson ends up flaming out. He doesn't really show up. Yeah, it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a long season. Evan, talk me off the bridge, my man. Am I going crazy here?
No, because you guys saying you're okay with your running back room?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm okay with the running back room.
I'm
healthy.
I'm not okay with okay. Because you know how I feel, and I don't believe Mike McDaniel, looking at that running back room, unless A-Chain goes off on the first drive of the game against the Chargers, who he was jumping up and down for when we drafted him, he's going to become a prisoner of the passing game again. Because when you don't have a bell cow, it's very easy to go to your stars versus your average players, right? And additionally, because we know Tua is not going to stay guaranteed to play 17 games, or if let's say something happens to Tua, and I said this on the previous show on the Real Talk Fins Talk, if you have a bell cow running back, you can survive with a Skylar Thompson and a Mike White. Look at what the Titans have done with Derrick Henry. Look what the Browns did last year with Jacoby Brissett. And they had Baker Mayfield also when he struggled. A running back who's a bell cow can mask a lot of the inefficiencies of an offensive line and of a quarterback. So for me, I'm not okay with okay. This is a team that got me going, and I was jumping on my bed when we got Tyreek Hill. And then we were willing to give up a first to get Bradley Chubb. Now you're telling me Bradley Chubb, we could easily say that Jonathan Taylor's accomplished more in his first couple of years of his career than Bradley Chubb. But you were willing to go all out on Bradley Chubb, and after a game, already give him a $15 million extension, and he hasn't proven anything to our team yet. But this other guy is the number one fantasy draft pick 2 years ago in fantasy football because he ran for 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns. For me, I think you've actually hurt your running back room because you've dipped. Chris Greer showed his hand. And don't tell me because he's interested because they're out there. You've dipped your hand in Dalvin Cook twice, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley rumor, now Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift at the draft. You've shown your hand that you're not comfortable. Jahmyr Gibbs. You've shown yourself that you're not comfortable with your own running back room. So you think the fans are fools? No. If you're going to get Tyreek Hill, you're going to get Bradley Chubb, you're going to get Jalen Ramsey, why are you going 50, 60% in all in and then hesitate when Jonathan Taylor becomes available? Because like you said, and I fully agree with you, that first round pick is, to me, truly a second round pick if you expect your team to do well. And so for me, and as I put in the draft, Greer, you suck at drafting anyways. What do you need the draft pick to anyways? You're going to screw it up and pick Noah again at 27 or 28, or Liam Eichenberg, or Austin Jackson. So I don't care. I'm not okay with okay. I've had 20. I'm 41. I'm 40 years old. I've had outside of 1991, 92, and then Marino got injured, and then tore his Achilles, and Scott Mitchell come in. I've had okay for many, many years. I was okay when Jay Fiedler was my quarterback. I was okay when Chad Pennington.
Don't hate on Jay Fiedler. He won a playoff game. Don't hate on him.
I said I was okay with him. I'm okay with Chad Pennington. Okay?
Oh, I got you now. Okay,
I'm not okay with Cleo Lemon because he ruined my perfect season.
Cleo Lemon.
Okay, so for me, I had higher expectations because last year I wanted to sustain offense, but when you started going all in, last year by getting Tyreek Hill and Bradley Chubb, to me, you needed a bell cow because I don't believe Mike McDaniel has learned his lesson yet. I don't care what anybody says. He sees Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on either side, and if he has a choice on 3rd and 2 with Devon A-Chain and Chris Brooks, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, he is going to throw that same stupid across the line slant to Tyreek Hill like he did in the Buffalo game. He cost us then, and I don't think he's addicted to it. He saw last year what his passing game can do for him, and I also wanted a compliment for Tua. You can't run RPO if you don't have a great running game. We have an okay running game. We don't have a great running game. We have not had a top running game since Ricky Williams. I wanted a top 5 running game.
Absolutely fair and great points.
Oh,
honestly.
Sage Rosenfeld, great podcaster too. Sage Rosenfeld, very knowledgeable.
I like Sage, man. That's
he's
good
a good
times
podcaster.
too.
He's a great
Hey,
podcaster.
but let me just say this because Anthony was in the comments, and I just want to say he says I understand no one wants to hear this, but kind of understand why we didn't make the trade for Jonathan Taylor and pass because look at the way he runs. He doesn't necessarily fit the scheme. That's not true, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you Mike McDaniel's words when he first came on board. It doesn't matter what his scheme is. It's not about fitting the player to the scheme. It's about fitting the scheme around the player to get the best out of the player. They went hard after Jonathan Taylor, despite what you're hearing after the fact. They went hard. They tried to make a deal. It's up. I believe it was up to the Colts that didn't make the deal because Jim Irsay was just getting in the way. They went after. They were interested in Derrick Henry earlier in the year. That's why his name was connected to that. They were interested in Dalvin Cook, trading for him, and then trying to sign him. But they said, "Hey, we noticed that Jonathan Taylor could be available here. We're going to stay at $4 million, and if Dalvin Cook takes it, then we're happy with him." Jahmyr Gibbs, DeAndre Swift, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley. The Dolphins were absolutely in on a running back. They wanted to get a running back. Oh, Chris Squared won't go for a running back. Look at his history. He won't draft a running back so high. He drafted Devin A-Chain. He would never trade for a running back. He tried to trade for he tried to sign first Dalvin Cook. Then he called about Josh Jacobs, and then he was trying to make a deal for Jonathan Taylor. Not because he's changing his philosophy, but because he's working with Mike McDaniel to get somebody that fits Mike McDaniel. If the Dolphins are going hard after Jonathan Taylor or any running back, which they have, every running back that
he's going to have
with
a
name,
attack.
That's Mike McDaniel saying, "Hey, let's go get me a stud back." He's comfortable with his room. They're showing that. Of course, they're saying that. Of course, actions speak louder than words. And if you're really comfortable with your room, you wouldn't go after everybody that's available. But I think the Dolphins are being honest with saying, "Hey, we're kind of comfortable with our room.
Well,
we need that star back. We need that legitimate back."
Your deals, you kind of show
Yeah.
when you were mentioning Evan that you show your hand. When you gave your running backs 1 year deals, you
Yes.
kind of saw that from the beginning.
And that's another thing. That's why Miami. I truly believe that's why one of the things Miami said, "Hey, I'm not going to up my price on Dalvin Cook, and I'm not going to up my price on Jonathan Taylor right now
next year
because the free agency class for running backs next year looks pretty good, and everybody better take note. If Miami does not make a trade before then, I know that people go, Miami will never spend that much on a running back. The opening day of free agency, watch that running back sign up with the Dolphins. I'm just telling you. So, people said about Derrick Henry, he doesn't fit the scheme. You fit the scheme around the player, not the other way around.
No, and I want to before we move on, I want to say one thing, Evan, because I know you mentioned it about the typical 3rd and 2 that McDaniel always throws it. Last year, it was predicted, and you knew it was coming. So, like for example, you saw Gesicki come on the field. Oh, that's a pass. It was telegraphed. Now, if you have the commitment to the run, even with an okay running room that was still productive, if you have a commitment to the run, you're still going to have that's like saying Andy Reid is going to run the ball on 3rd and 2 when if he had Tyreek Hill, Mahomes most likely was going to throw to Tyreek Hill. Andy Reid was committed to the run for the most part, but if your best playmaker is Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, of course you want to formulate a play where you can get them at least 3 to 4 or 5 yards to get you that first down. So I do believe that is where the commitment to the running game comes in, the blocking tight end comes in, because now you have a formula that when Julian Hill's out there, you don't know if you're passing or running. Last year, you saw Gesicki trottle out, it was a pass. So right away, defensively, we already have an advantage in that aspect. So I want to see how, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt there. I want to see how Mike McDaniel starts the season. And I do believe he is smart enough to make that progress where even if it fails initially, to stick it out, not just to change it up. So I do believe he's that cerebral where he's comfortable in his own skin and he's learned and he has veteran assistants now, especially with Vic Fangio and all that. That changes when you have a confidence defense as well. It does change your offensive philosophy a little bit where you can be a little bit more reserved. You don't always have to go for the home run every single time. So I do want to see that effect in the beginning of the season and see how it plays out.
So let's move on. Let's talk about receivers. Okay. I'll say Tyreek, Jalen. Izukama made the opening day roster. Of course, he had that first game where I called him Debo Jr., kind of see where they might use him. We got Cedric Wilson.
Restructured deal,
he
which I was
restructured his
impressed by that.
contract, gave some money back, which is great. You know, a veteran
I think
there.
He just got a signing bonus.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah,
too.
he got the same amount of money. It's just
River Craycraft and Braxton Berrios on the roster. Any surprises there, Alex, on that? Did you know, Chosen Anderson obviously did not make it.
Yeah. Robbie Chosen. I don't even know what's his name.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. I'll
tell you why they have that room.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed, obviously, with the wide receiver core. Like I said, I want to see what Eazy does. I believe he has the possibility to surprise. Obviously, you still got Braxton Berrios patrolling the middle, most likely, but you have your deep threats, your monster speed. But I do want to see Ezukama in that offense. I do want to see if he can sniff the field because they're talented and they're all speedsters.
Evan, why?
The reason why Robbie Chosen, who's now he's going to change his name tomorrow to Unchosen Anderson because he'll go back the other way. The reason why that room does not have Chosen is because there's one thing that Berrios, Craycraft, Izukama, Hill, Wilson, and Waddle can do. You know what that is? They all can play special teams. Whether it's returns, gunner, they all can do some, or punt return.
That's true.
They all can do something. Robbie Chosen cannot play special teams, and we'll get to the defense after. But
is Berrios going to be our punt returner?
Yeah, him and A-Chain. But the other key thing, and we'll get to it after. We'll get to the defense. That's exactly why, and I just want to bring it up now because I mentioned it on the other show also. The reason why you traded for Caleb Joseph is because he can play special teams, and without Justin Bethel and without Elijah Campbell. Maybe Easy can grow into it. You do not have a gunner on this team. You had Fedulum last year, you had Bethel, and you had Campbell. You don't have either of the three anymore for this season, for at least for a couple of months. That's why they did that. They went to go get a special teamer who can also play defense. So along with we have players who can actually play special teams. So that's why because Chosen can't play multiple positions.
Gotcha.
That's what I think. You're on mute. Can't hear you, Bobby.
Sorry. Let's talk about the secondary.
Producer.
Yeah, that's right. Eli Apple, Xavier Howard. We talked to Calvin Joseph, the gunner, Jalen Ramsey, Cam Smith. No Igbenogany's gone. Evan, you said you had a different perspective on Igbenogany getting traded. What is it?
The reason why, for me, I'm okay with trading Noah, but it just reaffirmed that Chris Greer's ability to draft, at least he admitted his failure. That was more about not Noah being poor. It's just at least he finally admitted his failure on what he did on the first round pick. But for me, that it didn't make it sort of relieved us of the stress, right? Like it's sort of like he was every time he was on the field, it stressed me out. So and I understand why we did the trade, but I think it was not to get a better player. I think it was just to relieve ourselves of that stress of Noah. That's what I really see how it really works. For me, I think there's still a lack of depth at corner. But I'm hoping that this opening there, because Jalen Ramsey is going to go on IR. Because if you were not put on IR, if you were put on IR before the 53-man roster, then you're gone for the year. Jalen Ramsey, Veron McKinley is still under a little bit. Elijah Campbell is going to go on IR. I really hope this opens up the space in the secondary for Bryce Callahan to be signed or another corner because I still have concern at corner. Eli Apple will likely be on the other side of Xavier and Cater Cole will be up the middle. Kelvin Joseph and Cam Smith will be there to back them up. But I still would like to add another piece there because I don't think we have enough depth there yet. I think we still need another veteran there. And Bryce Callahan, I think, would be the perfect fit because he's played with Ronaldo Hill was his coach last year. And he's played with Vic Fangio in Chicago for 3 years. So that's the guy I want to see signed. I will be disappointed in the Miami Dolphins and Vic Fangio if he doesn't go get Bryce Callahan to play the slot corner to back up or even take the role of Cater Kohu. Like I want him to compete with Cater Kohu for that role.
Isn't it crazy that, we look at the secondary before preseason and we're like, and of course,
smart guy, this guy.
Yeah, who's that? Steve Malloy.
Yeah,
man.
look at this, dude. They're very smart people, these guys.
Wow, you're on a roll there.
I know.
Casey was producing right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, all the good ones, right? All
Like
the-
Kelsey, that was going to be Ramsey. This comment, it was going to be Ramsey, but that's
Yeah.
why I want to go get Bryce Callahan, because Bryce Callahan's done this job. He's done it before.
But isn't it crazy that before this preseason started, before the the training camp, we were like, hey, corner and wide receiver are our deepest units, and now we look at receivers, still okay, but the cornerback position, we're kind of like, oh man, we're a little slim.
Yeah.
We're a little slim right now,
Especially at safety. Especially at
it's-
safety.
yes. So
Safety scares me to death.
look, it's the same issue that we had, and that's why I call it the no excuse season, because there's a lot of reasons to be excited about the Miami Dolphins right now. I do think it's an 11-6 team currently. There's a lot of reasons to be excited for this football team going into the second year with this offense, with this coach, our second year coach. The team gave a lot of reasons to be excited about. They did go to the playoffs. They were 9-8, which was not good, but still got to the playoffs. One of the top offensives in football. They go out. The defense struggled. They go out and hire Vic Fangio, a veteran defensive coach. They got Jalen Ramsey. They tried to go get running back, okay, but you got Jalen Ramsey, drafted Cam Smith, etc. Devin A-Chain. They drafted running back in the third pick, in the third round. There's a lot to be looking forward to with this football team. However, when it comes to, the front of the football team, just like, Alex Walgreens facing the store. The front, if you face all the items to the front, it looks very pretty. Everything looks very nice if you face it all up. All the front of the team looks really nice. The starters. Oh man, look at the starters. It's when you move the cans and you look back and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Or you have what is like Chef Boyardee, a whole thing, and then you open this up here and it's the Walgreens version right behind it. It's like, wait, that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
That's kind of how this team is, and it's like if a player goes down, and we go, oh, every team has injuries, every team has it, but not every team has depth issues like the Dolphins. I mean, you look at the corner room, Jalen Ramsey goes down, now you're kind of going, ooh, wait a second. Now they got Cam Smith. Okay. Xavier Howard, we don't know, he played hurt last year.
Usually fixed through the draft, and you have young
through
people,
the draft,
rookies contracts. So that's
you have a lot of money in superstars, and that's why a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to trade for big guys. I don't want to. Well, that's kind of where we are. That's why you need to, because that's where you are right now. You can't fix what you don't have anymore. So if you could go get this guy to help kind of alleviate everything else, you go do it. Offensive line. This is where I'm saying this is the depth issue. If Connor Williams goes down, Eichenberg is going to be your center. Unless they go out and they go find a center who gets cut, Eichenberg's going to be your starting center for the Miami Dolphins. If Terran Armstead goes down, who's your left tackle?
When?
And the Lamb.
Kendall Lamb. How comfortable are you
Kendall Lamb.
if that goes? How comfortable will you be if it's Kendall Lamb starting for a game or two or three for the Miami Dolphins at left tackle? Not very comfortable. Not at all. And look what who traded
about
for
90% throw, about 95% throwing.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's where the issues are. And we know these guys are going to go down because most of them do. It's what it is. But mostly these guys do it every year. It's not an if Terran Armstead goes down. It's when he goes down and how long he's going to be out. It's just he's done that every year. It's the same thing we talk about Tua. No one's, we say concussions. Or a lot of people talk about concussions. I'm not talking concussions with Tua. It could be he's out. I have it 2 games. It could be a sprained toe. It could be a hip. It could be anything. A broken finger 1 game. He's out every year for a certain number of years. You know that. So you go, oh, let me get an adequate backup that if and when he goes down, we're comfortable. We think we can win a game or 2. With Mike White and Skylar Thompson, and Skylar Thompson is my preferred choice at number 2, I can't say confidently that I'm comfortable or we can win games with those 2 guys at quarterback because we had this team, this offense with Skylar Thompson at quarterback. It's almost the same offense. If you put Skylar Thompson, you're just having a second year with him as the quarterback. Mm-hmm. And look what they did. They fell into the playoffs last year. So you would think, oh, let's go. What did they do? Yeah, we'll go get a guy. We're going to go ahead and release Teddy Bridgewater. We're not going to worry about him. Let's go get our backup quarterback. We're going to get Mike White. Oh, I'm so comfortable now. So that's what's scary about this team. It's an 11-6 team, healthy. Unhealthy, we're probably if Tua goes down for more than two games to 3 games, whatever, or Armstead goes down for 3 games, this might be a 9-win team. That's what's scary about this football team. That's what's scary about the depth situation. And that's why I say it's a no excuse season, because Chris Greer knew this. Management knew this. And they rolled with it. Same thing as they say to us, hey, you guys are more worried about offensive line than we are. Well, if Terran Armstead goes down and we're dealing with Kendall Lamb, who I'm not hating on, he did well in preseason. But if we're standing with Kendall Lamb and Eichenberg at center, you're damn right we have a reason to be worried about it. And you showed no care for it. You put your cards on the table, as Evan would say. So that's what's scary about this football team. If we are 1 or 2 injuries away from probably being a 9-win football team. That's the scary part. Unless you have the team going 15-2 healthy, then we're, a 13-win game, which is, okay. Now I don't know about that, but
13-4. 13.
You know
going
what I'm
to
saying?
the Super Bowl, baby. Going to the Super Bowl. Telling you.
Yeah,
remember, Evan, you're my other witness. I already said it.
Yeah, he posted it all in.
I posted it everywhere, every day.
Hey, let me just say this before I forget. And everybody who's tuning in, thank you so much. You're watching East Street Boys straight out of Hialeah on the Fins Talk Sports Network, or and you're listening to it on the Fins Talk Podcast Network. Tomorrow, we have at 8:30 Eastern Time our network fantasy draft, our second annual Fins Talk Sports Network Fantasy League. We're going to have a live draft following Once Upon a Sunday at 7:45, I believe, is their show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everyone most likely is going to be there. I know Evan's going to try. Evan has volleyball practice.
I might know softball, but my game ends probably like at 8:30, so I'll get there just in time. My game's at 7, but it might rain out. If it rains out, I'll be here.
All right, so T-ball, got you.
Softball. It's a real sport.
That's my wife.
But anywho, yeah. Again,
can I answer his question?
Go for it. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Yes, McDaniel, because no longer
100%
a rookie coach. He hired Frank Smith. He decided to hire Butch Barry. He makes the decisions on the cuts. If he's not happy with a player, he's the reason why he has to be. He's the final say on whether or not Olave is gone, Gerard Christian is gone, that Connor Williams is the center. It's just truly on McDaniel. McDaniel is just as much to blame as Chris Greer for the foundation of this team. If he really wanted to have a certain player on this team on the offensive line, or he wanted a particular player to go after, he'd have it. So,
and one thing I wanted to ask you guys before we move on, how do you guys feel Austin Jackson has progressed? Because I haven't watched as much preseason football as you guys have.
I'll put it this way: he's better than Liam Eichenberg. If that helps you, man. If that makes you feel more comfortable.
I don't know if that's.
He's the best right guard we have. He's the best. Honestly, I'll put it to you this way: I'd have more confidence with Robert Hunt at right tackle than I do Austin Jackson. Like, I'd be more comfortable with Robert Hunt at right tackle and a Robert Jones or a Lester Cotton at right guard than I am with Austin Jackson. Until he proves me something wrong. Until he proves me wrong. He's yet to prove me wrong.
I don't think he did bad. He put a lot of work on himself.
But I'm not happy with he didn't do bad. I want excellence from my offensive line. I don't want okay. I want good. I want excellent. I don't want satisfactory.
But then your expectations are higher than they should be. You should know better. You should know better. If your expectations are, I want supreme offensive line play, don't you see who we have?
No,
aren't you looking at the same offensive line?
I know who we have.
Hold on. Look at our offensive line. Yeah. Besides Armstead, when healthy, what guy would give you the fantasy that they're going to be some premier talent all of a sudden?
I believe in Robert Jones over Austin Jackson. I believe in Robert Jones. I've always liked Robert Jones. I don't think he's been given a fair shake when healthy. No one has ever and when he has played in a game and he has started, no one has at the end of the game said the things that we say about Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg. Period.
I just think, man, I really think that, and I agree. I think I just saw a comment by Eric. I do think that this O-line might surprise us in the regular season with the production.
They might. That's my thing. Again, preseason's preseason. It could excite you or it could get you nervous, which you guys Evan right now. And that's the truth, too. Listen, Austin Jackson,
tiny
obviously, listen, Austin Jackson is in great shape. When I watched him, when I could in preseason, I like what I saw. I saw a better version. Not saying he's going to be great. I know that's what you don't like. I know you want to hear great, but he is Jackson at right tackle is asking for trouble, especially after his concussion issues last year. Not just concussion issues. First off, it was just, he had 2 concussions or whatever number they had it in there. But you just have injury concerns. But the Dolphins knew that. That's why they should have got Trent Brown 2 years ago instead of Terran Armstead.
McGlinchey, people. There's a reason why someone paid $14 million for McGlinchey.
They should have got a right tackle instead of the left tackle, but they decided, let me go get Terran Armstead, who can't last a season. But that's what I'm saying. Yes, what I expect from this offensive line, or my expectations, my hope, that they're okay. I don't want that to be the case, but to say, they have to be amazing. No, don't set yourself up for that, Evan. You don't deserve that. You spend too much money on this football team to have those type of expectations on the offensive line. You should know better. Shame on you. Me. I'm trying to help you out.
It's my Canadian optimism.
And that's a problem. That's why America is. I'm just playing. But anyway, Alex is muted. So it's
no. Unlike
be more American.
Unlike your former president who's facing 4 indictments, my guy is only getting divorced.
Don't do that. Keep it clean. Anyway, I love that.
It's all good.
So the team. So
safety.
If you had to give, came from the interior, not from the tackles. Tua's concussions came from holding the ball too long, not the offensive.
Hero ball.
That's
the only heroes I want is a hero sandwich, not a hero ball.
Right.
Hero sandwiches are very good.
But again, for Tua, I'll give him credit. When he took some hits, except for that fumble, which not the oversnap, it wasn't on him, but I'm saying the snap where he pushed that ball away into the left tackle.
But he has to learn to fall on the ball. You're supposed to slide into the ball, not fall on the ball.
That freaking defensive lineman almost landed on his arm. Oh, God, he's out for the season. Like, here we go again. I was like, put your arm away. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Hero ball. Stop. So if you had to give,
don't put that up, Evan. Don't put that up. That's just haters.
How refreshing to hear you say the Dolphins.
That's just a hater.
I did not say the Dolphins suck. I'm just saying, center your expectations. I think they're 11-6 team. I'm not saying they suck.
The problem is my wife says that because every year I tell her, I'm like, legit, like this is the year. Trust me, the moment we acquired Tyreek, Alex, you say that every year. I'm like, no, Jamil, I'm serious. This year they're building a legit offense. We haven't had an offense in forever. Yeah, you said that about it last year. I'm like, no, I mean it this year. I mean it. And then we started losing, and we went like on a 4-5 game losing streak. I'm like, God.
A lot of fans. No, see that I agree. That I do agree is that a lot of fans do that. A lot of you do it. I've done it. Now I've kind of got myself on another level since I've been really into this, talking Dolphins thing. But it's like, how many of us have gone, man, this is the year, man. Hey, we got Cam Cameron, man. Cam Cameron, Trent Green. Hey, man, this is the year, bro. Trent Green goes down the first game of the season.
Mike Wallace,
Chad Henne, or maybe Brandon Marshall, Chad Henne. This is the year. Sue, we got Sue, bro. We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. Where are we after that? That's what I'm saying. Temper your expectations. Temper your expectations.
Okay, realistically, even if we temper our expectation, realistically here.
Now you're talking dirty.
For 15 years, we either had a good offense at times or a good defense. We were never on par. We could never have a complete football team. Now we seem to have a complete football team, but our concern is the depth on the O-line and the production of the O-line.
I don't want to sound like a hater here. I don't.
Oh my God, you're going to sound like a hater, Bob.
I know, but just because you're overreaching here. You're overreaching.
Man. Okay, but you don't think this is the most equal both sides of the football we've had in a long time? No. We've had a more talented overall team than this.
Offense is more talented than our defense right now. We got talented pieces. But you can't say it's the most complete football team. No.
I didn't say the most complete football team. I said it's the most complete on both sides of the ball simultaneously. Not the most complete football team.
Alex.
Because we don't have a good old.
Alex, you're doing this. You're doing what you do. No. You're saying the same thing without trying to say it.
Evan,
Alex.
Evan,
no, you just said How
I
can you
we have
say
the most
we're
complete team, or we have the
simultaneously
most-
complete? Shut up! You're saying we're
Are you kidding me?
simultaneously
Are you-
complete team
Evan,
on both
can you
sides, but we're not a
can you
complete
please talk to
team.
this man, please, because
No, you know what you just said.
I know what
Jamila, you're watching. Is your husband doing what he's doing?
I know
He's
what I
saying
said,
something
Oh,
at the same time covering himself. Like, what are you?
Jesus
You're
Christ.
saying it's a complete football team.
We
I'm saying
don't
no,
have the
it's
most
not.
complete football team. What I'm saying
Il
is,
parle de deux
don't-
côtés de sa bouche. He's
Hold
talking
on,
about
let
both
him
sides of his
repeat.
mouth.
Let him
Okay.
say the same thing without
I
saying.
am not saying we have the most complete football team.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, don't we have the most talented team on both sides of the ball simultaneously for the first time in many years? We haven't had this much talent on both sides of the football.
Oh, you're
in
talking
many years.
individual talent?
Yeah, on both sides of the football.
Okay,
Talented
individual
team. I'm not talking
talent.
about complete team.
Sure.
Yeah.
Individual talent.
Damn it.
But
man.
so did the Eagles a few years back when they called themselves the Dream Team, and where did they go?
Oh, but okay. That's when they signed when there was Andy Reid.
So did the
right?
Bills for the last 4 years.
Hey, I'm telling you, the Bills. I see the Bills collapsing this year, man. I know
you say that every episode.
Oh man!
But I'm just
telling
saying.
you, I feel it.
But I'm saying, but my thing is that there are, I wouldn't say it's a complete football team. Like it's, yes, talent wise on both sides. It's not like we have just Sue or just Brandon Marshall or whatever. Oh no, you can you get Bobby going. Yeah, I'm not trying to, but all I'm saying is that yes, individual talent, absolutely, but to make a run at a playoff team, or make a run as a playoff team, or make a Super Bowl, you can't just be individually talented. You have to be a complete.
Of course not.
Depth is an issue. The thing, like right now, you look at the Eagles; they're a very talented football team, but they have depth. They don't have depth issues. The Kansas City Chiefs, when one guy goes down, another guy's already standing up. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You flipped it. I see it. All right, it makes sense now. But anyway,
I didn't flip it, man. You
did. No. Your wife even said thank you.
No,
That's what you do, bro. You've been doing this for 30 years. You've been doing this for 30 years. You say something, you're saying something, and then you say the opposite to try to. It's like, dude, you're saying the same thing.
Evan, you heard what I said, right? You're my witness here. Thank you, man.
When you don't listen, Evan is saying, listen to me. Evan's being smart. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. Notice he's staying quiet because he knows I'm right. He's not trying to hurt your feelings. It's all right.
I'm surrounded by traitors. I live in a world of lies.
I mean, come on, man.
Excuse me. You live in the country of fake news.
Exactly. Trust me, this is fake
news.
And
right you live in the state of the guy who will never let you down.
Oh my God, bro! Dude,
let's keep it. Hey!
Come on!
Stop! I mean,
did you see that fake smile?
Wait! Stop! Wait.
It looks like he was disconnected, and he just like.
Wait! Yeah, he goes. You're gonna see. I can't do it right now. Usa. I can't do it. I will never let you down. I was like, what the hell?
It's the most unnatural thing. I'm like, is this iRobot? Like,
I had to laugh at that. No, okay, cut it. I will never let you down. It's like,
I want a president that looks like that right there. You see, that's like Teddy Roosevelt. I want a president that looks
Teddy
like
Roosevelt,
that.
Exactly.
Yes.
Rough Riders, man.
Bobby 2028, right? That's the next run right there.
Wow. That's good. Hey, you never know. You never know, man. Right there. Vote for that man.
Damn right. Evan will move to America if that went down.
Instant citizenship, Evan. Instant citizenship.
Yeah. This will be Evan. I'm in the White House. I'm going to go, you're not coming on the show tonight? You're not going to do the show? Why aren't you going to do the show? Dude, I have to. There's a war. I have to stop the war.
You could,
let the other guy do it. Let the other guy do it.
But no. I just want to borrow your nuclear football.
Yeah, that's right. The nuclear football. Oh, look. Canada's cutting off their internet connection. They wasted the free internet. They're trying to cut him out. He's starting to freeze up.
I'm fine.
The moment he started making fun of our governor, it started happening. You see?
Yeah, that's right. As soon as he started making fun of the governor, there you go. Oh my goodness. So let me just ask this quick, and then we'll move on to the question part. Or no, let's touch on heat, and we'll touch on other stuff on the very quick.
Okay.
Ask
away.
Very quick. Very quick to the both of you, because I asked you guys very quick, and you can go on for 10 minutes on one thing. So this is like a 20-minute answer. So I'm going to hold you guys to the quick. 53-man roster. A grade on the 53-man roster. Alex, go.
A what?
A grade. Give a grade.
I'll say a B+.
Okay. Evan?
B-. If they sign Bryce Callahan and Akeem Hicks, A-. I want those two guys. I want two Vic Fangio disciples from Chicago on this defense, and I'll move it up to an A-.
I'm going to give it a B because of the undrafted free agents. Chris Brooks, they found a way to keep him.
Sign these two
Julian
guys.
Hill and Brandon Peely. I'm very excited about those three guys. I'm okay with the roster as it is. There are obviously questions. Like I said, I make it known. But I like the players that they made it. B- for Duke.
Bobby,
Thank you for tuning in, brother. Yes.
Quick side note, because we talk about the Tua draft. How much do you think Brian Flores had to do with the picks in Noah and Austin Jackson?
Because
we never mentioned those things.
Listen, all I know is well, let me just say this. Maybe defensive guys. I know he was happy when we got Christian Wilkins. He was going off. I remember when we drafted him, he was so excited.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember him being too excited about it, and I have to go back with no monogamy. I will say is that after Tua was drafted,
mm-hmm.
You had the thing with, he wanted Justin Herbert. Oh, no, he wanted Jordan Love. But he never went, he wanted Tua. So it makes me question how much input he actually had.
Gotcha.
And I'm not saying you're doing this, but what I'm saying when people do bring it up, that they try to use Flores too much as a scapegoat for Greer.
Oh, no, not at all.
No. But I'm saying is that it's like, look, Greer made those decisions. He's the general manager. I'm sure he got input from Flores. I don't think as much as he's getting from McDaniel. I think he realizes this is his last stand. Yeah. That he's going to say, okay, I'm going to do my best to work for the workers, so they can't say that I'm being – because, hey, he's also – you got to think about it. Even though he's okay with his job, he looks like he's getting – he has a good setup right now for his team. You got to remember, they're always looking at their next job. He's auditioning for the next role because if he gets let go at the end of the year, God forbid, if the team falls apart and Chris Greer gets fired, he wants to be a general manager somewhere else. He wants to be a president of scouting or whatever somewhere. He wants to do that. So he knows that. So this, I think McDaniel has way more input on this roster than Flores ever had, because look what happened with Minkah Fitzpatrick. Couldn't figure out a role for him. Did he have a say in drafting him?
Which is insane.
I know
that was insane.
But that's just my input. Yeah. Everybody has their own thing, but that's just what I think. But great question. But I think some people like to use that as like, but come on, Flores had a say over that. But it's like, if Flores didn't have a say on the quarterback, how much say did he have over these other guys?
And one thing before we leave NFL talk, the whole Trey Lance situation. I know we're involved because we're involved in the trade. And John Lynch, I always like to compare if Greer would have made a move like that for a quarterback like Trey Lance, and you end up trading him, where you traded 3 first-round picks basically for him, and then you basically just got a 4th-rounder for him, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's what they got from the Cowboys, a 4th-rounder. I'm like, that's an epic fail. That's a fail in epic proportions. Now, I also say this: do you think it was prudent to move him now? Because Brock Purdy obviously got hurt last year. If there's a situation there, Sam Darnold's your second quarterback. Is it just that he was not getting the offense at all? Or you don't keep him on the roster as at least a minimal veteran where you can play him in the given case that Brock Purdy goes down? I knew he was going to get traded. I was surprised he got traded so quick. I know it was.
I would say I think that you trade him. First off, it is a loss no matter what, unless you kept him and you hope that he comes in and does something great. But if you trade him, it's a loss no matter what you do. Unless you got like the same compensation for him, then it's a loss. It was a huge failure on the Niners' part, but the Niners are a very good organization. They just made a bad choice at quarterback. I think it's smart to move him now because you stop any type of distraction. Because if you start Brock Purdy and he gets hurt and Trey Lance comes in and Trey Lance is amazing, or he somehow shows up, it's a good problem to have. But then you're dealing with quarterback controversy. Yeah. Or if Brock Purdy starts to struggle and you got Lance back there and you're not really comfortable with him, but now you got to start him because, you don't give Brock Purdy a chance to grow. So you got 2 young guns, trade the other one. You get a 4th-round pick back. It doesn't sound sexy, but hey, the Niners are pretty good at drafting. They could probably get a stud at the 4th. They messed up with that 1st-round pick, but they probably find a stud in the 4th round.
Yeah, no, if Brock Purdy doesn't pan out, you're in deep shit. If you're San Francisco.
Well, that's my thing. You
quarterback away again.
Yeah, but they've gotten that close before. So the thing is, they have a championship roster. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, they're Fred Warner on defense, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. George Kittle, tight end. They got a very innate depth-wise. They got a good,
roster,
but the quarterback is where they're off. So if Brock Purdy doesn't show up for them, then they could go ahead and at the end of the year they go trade for a quarterback, or they go draft a guy, Drake May out of North Carolina, or Caleb Williams who's in USC, who may or may not come out. What's up, Finsteak? Good to see you, brother. It's a very interesting situation. I think they had to just make that move, you know. There's who was it that got released or traded? Is there any quarterback?
Patriots quarterback?
Zappy. Evan, you brought this up earlier. You did bring Zappy, but is there any quarterback besides Zappy or Zappy himself? Is there any quarterback that you go, man, I would rather go get that guy than what we have right now?
Jake Fromm.
As our backup.
Jake Fromm.
Really?
I like him. Colt McCoy was okay. But no,
Veteran.
I like Jake. I would sign Jake Fromm to our practice roster, that's for sure.
Okay.
He's a capable quarterback.
All
I
right.
believe he could do well with the scheme. He was a high-touted draft guy in college, so we have nothing to lose by going to get him. I like Jake Fromm.
What's up, Freddie? Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Before we move off football talk, the number one position that needs to be looked at, and Bernardo Hill, I haven't had a chance to listen to his video today. Brandon Jones is not going to be ready for game one, so you're relying on Deshaun Elliott. Ron McKinley's not 100%. If they can go get another safety with it, because for that kind of defense needs two strong safeties, we're very thin there.
It's true. It's true. That's the thing. That's the issue. The team, that's what not the issue. I don't want to say, but that's the problem with this team is that it is an injury or two away from being a scary situation. You know, it's again, the front of the team, like I said, if you work in retail, and I say to Alex, as we worked Walgreens when we were kids, is that, you know, facing the store, you put everything up front, you make it look nice for the next day, whatever. On the front side of this football team, talent-wise, starter-wise, it looks good. It looks like, oh, man, this is a nice team, as Evan has brought up before in the show, on paper. The Dolphins are a pretty team on paper. It's when you take out the starters and you go ahead and put the backups, when you go, holy crap, that's an issue.
They might lose to a CFL team.
Yeah, that's an issue. And it could be like that for any team where you go, oh, now we have our backups, you know. But there's nobody on the backups that you're looking and go, oh, I like this guy, I'm okay with. No, they're all going to go, you look at it and you go, well, damn. Okay. This is Cleo Lemon all over again.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's scary about this team. It's a Cleo Lemon injury, Trent Green injury type of situation. It's that, of course, you got more talent, but it's just saying if you take those guys
I'll
out.
give the perspective on our, besides Mike White, who may not be ready to start the year, on our backup quarterback. Always remember this. The Dolphins scored 30-plus points in the one playoff game last year that they were in. And to this day, this quarterback who's had 4 or 5 starts, including the playoffs, has yet to throw a touchdown with this offense. That tells me that that's what I want to see from McDaniel. Can he adapt to different situations, not just with Tua over center? And I will make this prediction. I bet you the first play the Dolphins take on game one, if it's a run, he's changed. If he does a quick throw with Tua across the numbers, he hasn't changed a thing.
Wow, you're judging based off that?
Yes, because he did that in the preseason game where he wants Tua to get comfortable. And just imagine he does what he does on the regular. If he makes a bad throw, they should be running the first run to get it comfortable. You run. I don't want to hear this. No, I'm telling you, if he does a quick throw and does the same old thing that he did last year, we're in for a long season.
I say play action, 70-yard bunt to Hill. Boom, start the year off.
Yeah, wrong way of going. Not on first down. Not on first down. Honestly,
So,
the dream is if we end up by the way, you know what we need to do win this year? Maybe we're not receiving, because remember I used to do it on the post game with you? I used to count. I think in the 17 games we played, I think we received the ball 14 times. I don't think we kicked off in all but 3 games.
oh my goodness.
So
Let's do this. Let's make it fun. Let's have some fun here.
having
Everyone
fun
who's
yet?
tuning in. Oh, we're having a lot of fun. But it would have some extra fun for everybody in the comments and for Evan, who's I think this is your second time on the show. But we had a lot of fun last week with these questions. These are random questions. We'll see how it kind of goes with how long people answer. But try to do at least between 5 to 10, depending how long it goes. And then we're going to touch a little bit on Miami Heat. And if this is your first time tuning into the show, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. You're watching East 10th Street Boys straight out of Hialeah on the Finstock Sports Network, or you're listening to it on the Finstock Podcast Network. Like and subscribe if you're new. We appreciate you. We on East 10th Street Boys, we talk everything Miami sports, Miami life, growing up Hialeah, talk about our childhood. So join the fun. We've got plenty to talk about. But I will touch on Heat, Alex, but we're going to hold it for the end, for the final part. We'll close it out with that talk. But let's have some fun with this, okay? These are some random questions. And I'm going to start with Evan, and then Alex, you can follow up because it gives you something to think. Because last time you took forever to answer about the cat. Was it like, what's the rudest animal? But today, Evan, the first question for you is, what are those things you are too old to do, but you still enjoy?
What am I too old to do, but I still enjoy? Playing Sega Genesis. Too old to enjoy it. Too old. Video games for me. I love to do it, but I'm too old to do it. I have no patience, but I still love to do it. What else?
Keep it clean, Alex.
Putting on my own pants by myself. It's hard to reach. But what else? What am I too old to do, but I still enjoy? You brought it up in your show. Do you still enjoy? Oreo cookies, glass of milk.
All right, Alex.
Honestly, to this day, when I talk sports with one of my best old buddies, I used to get, when I was like 12 or 15, 16 years old, I used to go in the kitchen. My parents would stare at me. They would see I would take a carton of milk and a thing of Oreos. I go, see you later. And 3 hours later, I'm still on the phone with my buddy yelling about sports like we are right now.
See, we would get all along. We'd sit in the living room. We all have our own Oreos sitting there talking. I love it. Give me a cold glass this big of cold milk and with Oreos. Ooh, yeah, I'd be going to town. Alex, what are you too old to do, but you still enjoy? I think that was the question.
Sleeping in on a weekend. I have, and now with like travel ball and all that, like it's with kids is impossible. But
dude, like drinking all night. There you go.
Honestly, you know what sucks? Because I'm still not old enough, but my body feels it is playing basketball every day. That was my safe haven. That was what I felt at peace doing. And it was something that I did every day religiously for 3 to 4 hours, any given day. And now I'm starting to feel it more and more because obviously family responsibilities, work, coaching. But I think and another thing, believe it or not, is playing with what do you call this? With my son's toys, like the G.I. Joes and the action figures. I still enjoy sitting down and playing with action figures and like building Legos and all that. I don't think you're ever too old to build Legos. I think Legos is like a forever age type of thing. But I guess like laying on the floor and actually playing with like
that
action
figures,
figures, that hurts
being on the floor
hell,
too
man.
long
It
hurts.
hurts like hell, bro.
I'm going to give you a quick perspective. My kids uncovered a couple months ago because they were over at my parents and they uncovered my wrestling collection. So I have the old school wrestlers. So I have Hogan or whatever. When I started showing them the Killer Bees and Hercules and Paul Roma and King Haku, I have every possible wrestler you could think of. Hillbilly Jim, Kamala, Demolition. Like they had the old school wrestlers and they're begging me to buy them a ring. That's one thing. Like to go play with those figurines. To put up I have to go buy them a new ring. To put up a steel cage of King Kong Bundy in WrestleMania.
I got my son in the ring. Yeah.
Those things are legit, man.
Yeah,
for me,
cool.
so much I love playing video game. I do. I know you could say I'm too old, but that's something that's kind of like my therapy, and now my son plays it. So I play a lot of it with him. Our favorite game to play together right now is WWE 2K. The latest one, 23, and we have universe mode, and I have a brand. I created like the Nitro of Nitro was WCW was to come back, so I have a brand and he has a brand, and I downloaded all these wrestlers, and we just have fun with that. But same thing on the sense of wrestling. I used to love, me and Alex back in the day, Evan. used to do wrestling. We say backyard wrestling, but
Yeah.
technically it was backyard wrestling, but we weren't doing the
was.
crazy stuff. We did some crazy things. It was crazy
We're
all
pulling
around.
a Mick Foley jumping off the roof onto the
Oh yeah, no, I did that. Yeah, I got thrown off a roof. But we did full productions, kind of like how I run the network is how I did that. We would go and wait for the ice cream truck to come by, and I'd buy smoke bombs, and we'd have our camcorder. We'd bring stuff out, build a ring, and Alex was D-Bomb. I was the unknown, and I was the immortal Robert Michaels.
The immortal Bomb.
And my brother Nicky was X-Nick. Harrison was Black Blade. We had a whole crew, and people used to watch. And we used to record videos. We do the old school WWF promos where you had the music in the background. My brother Nick used to do that. We used to do. It was so funny because we never really. It was the promos or the promotional thing was never actual footage. It was like, okay, Alex, now you rock bottom me. Okay, boom, and then we cut, and then okay, now I'm gonna leg drop you, and then we do it into a music video, and then we play that before the match. So that was a lot of fun. And honest to God, like when I'm around my brother or whatever, that's still a lot of fun for me. It hurts like hell though. I wrestle with my son all the time. He's really into it. I get a kick out of that. I wouldn't say Oreos is something because Oreos is a grown ass man. I don't care. I don't think that's a kid thing or something like that. I'm not too old for that. Oreos all day, But yeah, those are some.
That's gonna be your deathbed. Like you're gonna be there, just laying there, like let me get this
Okay, come on. How cool was the? Come on, how did you not appreciate Oreo in the movie Rounders with John Malkovich is twisting the Oreo? You ever see that movie, the poker movie with Matt Damon? Where every time he played the Russian, and every time he had a hand, he would twist the Oreo and lick the cream off.
I was always remove the Oreo to see if I can get the cream filling.
The Oreo will get ruined if you couldn't spin it. The Oreo goes in the garbage.
Oh, dude, I hate when it falls apart in your hand. Alex, what are your pet peeves?
My overall life pet peeves or anything specific?
Yeah, well, let's keep it to let's do top 2 pet peeves.
Top 2 pet peeves. Don't lie to me. That's number 1 for me. Don't lie.
With that.
Don't fuck around. Be honest with whatever it is. Be honest. Be upfront. That goes with everybody, with my kids, my friends.
Even if you think you're gonna upset me, just tell me the truth.
Just tell me the truth, bro. Don't try to sugarcoat it because either way, I know you're lying, and now you're gonna piss me off, and I'm not gonna be very helpful at all. And number 2, I would say is try to take care as much as you can on your own and don't bother people. I feel like a lot of people overdo this. Oh, I need your help for this, or it's easier for someone to do it for you. So I would say one of my pet peeves is be able to solve things on your own. Like come to me when you need help, but be able to do things on your own. That's just general life. We can go into other pet peeves and all that, but those are 2 things.
For me, I think lying is perfect. I think that's I don't like two faces. I'd rather you be completely honest. Even if you think you're going to upset me, I'd rather get over that than come back and find out you were lying later.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
Too much feelings up and down. So just tell me the truth.
That one's the deep one. I'm cool with that. It's hard to be a Dolphins fan because they lie to us all the time. It's true, Joseph. Joseph gets 2 points. See, there's no points, but you got to give Joseph a round of applause. A good one. Alex, is it like when you ask your wife how to edit a PDF every day?
Wow.
Ooh.
Okay. This is
wow.
You see, like this is the
good for you, Jamila. Good for you, my dear.
These are the things I'm talking about, and I'll explain this story. I have a small blinds and shades company. Okay, we have to do insurance coverage when we're going to go to certain buildings. I just ask her to please edit it for me because my fingers with my phone. I can't edit things on my phone in like this program because they're so small, and she's very delicate in how she does it. So she's proficient in that. I'm not that techie with my phone in regards to that. Obviously, I can email, I can text, and all that. But when it comes to those editing things, I ask her if she could be kind enough to do it for me. But she chooses to go and blast me here live on air with my help.
Can I just be honest? With all the love in the world for my brother for 30 plus years, and of course to his beautiful wife, who I love dearly, I get where she's coming from. You know, Hey, Bobby, can you move this little thing about 2 inches up high? Bobby, can you move back to the right? Hey, Bobby, my bad, dude. Can you add this? I was like, let me just block this number for a second.
But it's good quality. Good quality.
It's all good. Another one, and again, because the line thing is true. I get that. And that one is true, too. Do the best you can before you bother me with it.
Exactly.
But one for me, I'm going to make it a fun one, but it's so damn freaking true. And there's so many pet peeves I could go with. Obviously, all of us can. But his hair in the shower. When Tati washes her hair,
oh my god,
she leaves a pile of hair in the shower.
Jesus
that
Christ.
drives me freaking AWOL. Because if I'm not paying attention and I walk in, I hate loose hair. I hate loose hair with a passion.
My wife's not going to comment on anything. Ask her about our bathroom floor. I bet she's not going to comment now. You're not going to. Evan, if you see anything, put it up right up, bro. Right up.
Yeah, Tati. Well, I'll call Tati back in the back. I say, hey, come. Hey, you got to pick this. I can't do this. I can't. I don't want.
Consider it.
It's like, dude, think about. Are you the only one in this shower? Do you only use it? Like, what are you doing? Clean it. That's a pet peeve. Evan, you don't have to worry about that because of your, but.
Oh, can I change one? Now you said bathroom. I want the toilet paper. I'm a person. Okay, maybe other people do it. The toilet paper. Do you put it facing where you're pulling it from, or reverse where it's against the wall?
Comes from
What's
under.
the common sense one?
Under.
I have it forward. I'm forward.
Forward.
Under.
Like what?
You pull it from the bottom. You don't pull it from
It's
the
a Canadian thing. It's a Canadian thing.
God, man.
Alex could shove it.
Well, Bobby, it's gonna get interesting.
No, it ain't. 'Cause I'll keep going. No, it won't.
That's what she said.
Yeah, she say whatever she wants. She said she sheds worse than the dog. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Evan, pet peeves 2, if you can.
2? I'll give you multiple, but I'll give you 2.
I know you would.
Yeah. Okay. You guys don't realize how lucky you are. In Montreal, where I'm from, you can't turn right on reds.
What?
Whoa.
Can't turn right on reds. Big pet peeve.
Serious?
Yeah. And my least favorite, my number one pet peeve, that's why I've learned to only carry on.
Yes, I do.
2 things. Luggage carousels. Least favorite, worst invention ever. When they have 4 flights coming one luggage carousel, and then you're with your kids, and then it stops. And then it stops. And then it beeps. And then it stops. Literally, one day I'm going to climb up that luggage carousel and go choke out the person on the other side because they are playing games with your life. I have so much more to do with my life than to stand there waiting for my freaking luggage. Waiting for my luggage is my pet peeve. Waiting for luggage.
All right.
And the second,
yeah,
the mayor, you'll appreciate this being Floridian, because my condo is on a barrier island of Hallandale, which he knows.
Yes, sir.
The frickin' flyaways. They built the bridge. They built a flyaway to connect Hallandale South Ocean Drive from Hallandale Beach Boulevard to get to North Federal Highway. And they built the flyaway for 5 years, one next to the other. And they said they built it in order for it to be higher, in order for them not to have to open the bridge.
They open it every time.
This is what my pet peeve is. When you are waiting for the flyaway, and then you're at the edge, and then you see what's coming across. It's the little rowboat sailboat with a 60-foot mast, and you're standing there in traffic for 20 minutes for this little boat to go across, and you're going, that's my number one pet peeve of going to Florida.
You know how many appointments I've been late to? You know how many appointments I've been late to because of that little bridge, man?
Can I just point out? Look. Notice I said my 1 was lying. It's just overall. That just goes for people. And then 2, I said about the shower.
Excuse me. If you're not lying, you're not trying.
Listen. Oh, good to remember. And then look at her. She starts going. Bobby does not do this. Bobby clicks his jaw. All this, like that's a pet peeve of her. There's another one. She always has to go the extra mile with being herself.
No. Okay.
Happy wife. Happy life. Is the biggest bullshit.
One more.
I've ever heard.
Ever. Biggest bullshit.
One more. One more. Now that the machines, especially now when I was away, they've increased it. When they already tell you they recommend the tip. Don't recommend what my tip is on the Interact machine. Let me make my own. That's one of my least favorite. Don't recommend your tip. And the guy's standing there, or the waitress is standing over you, waiting for you to decide, will she give you the look of death or not?
Yeah. It's like, look up, 15%. Asshole. Yeah. What's the tipping percentage, Evan, in Canada? Is that worldwide? Like 20%
Starts at 15.
Now? Okay.
But okay, I'm going to freak you out. My sales tax in Montreal and Quebec, where I'm from, is 15%.
Yeah, but you have socialized medicine, so you have.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with sales tax.
What's
Yeah, but my sales
Do you
tax.
pay?
Yeah, but our socialized medicine. My kid cut open his lip here, and we had to go to the children's. Yes, we have Medicare. We were there for 7 hours. We were there for 6 hours to get stitches.
Yeah.
6 hours.
I get you. As his pros and his cons.
Yeah. Bobby, you alive?
Yeah, I'm looking up the
He's
next
just
comment.
reading. He's just reading his wife's comments.
What are no. I choose not to. Just like when she's talking, I choose just to let her ear descend. What are the songs?
No, someone had the best one chip jar. It said Tippin isn't a city in China.
The Evan, let's give number 3 here. What are the songs? Name one song, not what are the songs. Name one song that when it pops on the radio, you sing along to it.
Oh man, there's a bunch.
Miami has a Dolphin, the greatest football team.
Hey, there you go.
Oh no, really? No. Number 1, Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline.
Oh, for sure.
Dun, dun, dun. I like that. Alex?
Bro, I have a lot.
Spice Girls. All right, Joseph. There you go. If you want to be my lover. There's some songs that you know when it comes on, you watch it, make sure anybody's watching. You're like,
man,
you got to get with my
I'm
friend.
blue. No, you know what it is? You guys are too old. You guys are not appreciating this, but I'm a little older. You know what the number 1 song was? And you would do it in the car? Night at the Roxbury, where you're standing like this.
Oh yeah. Of course we know what that is. We were listening. We were singing that song the other day.
Mango. You don't remember Mango from Saturday Night Live? Chris Kattan, the best thing ever. Mango.
Making my way downtown. This Tati's. Duke said Duke is in Australia. There you go, Duke. Thank you, man, for watching. He says we don't tip here in Australia. Only at expensive restaurants, fine dining. Making my way downtown is Bobby's. No, it's not. Don't say that. No, it's not.
Bobby loves that song. For sure it does.
No, it's not.
I'm big on. Right now, I'm big on 3 artists. For example, this is crazy. Obviously, I love Bad Bunny. I love Pedro Capó, another Puerto Rican. So shout out to Tati. And I'm big on Chris Stapleton. So I love country music too. Like I'm all over.
You have no idea. You're gonna appreciate this. The number 1 song, I'm not kidding. Every December. Okay, so I'll put it to you this way. There's a radio station that we listen to. It's American. It's through Vermont that plays Christmas songs from November 10th to December 25th. It's only Christmas songs, 24 hours a day. Every time Jose Feliciano, Feliz Navidad comes up, my entire family stops what we're doing and we bellow. We bellow Jose Feliciano.
For me, again, there's a lot of songs because I do enjoy by myself singing, but is Elvis, anything Elvis I could probably belt out from the car. Johnny Cash, like Johnny Cash, and some Conway Twitty. That's another one. But there's a few songs that I could sing and have fun. Elton John, things like that. But I showed him all those artists. He didn't even know who Pedro was 3 weeks ago.
That's you see number 1 pet peeve, just lying, just straight up lying, man. 3 weeks ago.
Let me see. There was one here that I saw that I think that is funny. Let's see here.
Evan, what's your favorite cereal?
Oh, there you go.
Favorite cereal? Cocoa Puffs.
Okay.
Cocoa Puffs.
You continue, Bob. You continue.
Go ahead.
It's so funny. It's hilarious because the other day I sent you a picture. Remember, I was in Walmart doing some scouting for our cereal, and it's funny because my dad asked me for the original cornflakes, and I had not tasted the original cornflake in almost 20 years, and I had it the other day with regular milk, put a little sugar, and I'm like, oh man. Yeah.
What is
old? My wife is
Alex?
really old. Like this is her favorite cereal.
It's in the 15 years we've been together. Bobby has never listened to my playlist. We only put Bobby's music.
You've never listened to your wife's playlist?
Her playlist sucks. But yes, I have, because that's how I know it sucks. She's a liar. That's one of my pet peeves. My wife is a liar.
The only thing is he doesn't understand it.
That's true too. At least she understands. At least she understands, what she's listening to when we go. She acts like she don't like it. It's a lie. Oatmeal, porridge, raisin bran. There you go. There's some cereals. No, he's never. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a straight up lie.
I tried grits the first time a few weeks ago, and I go, that's a little overrated.
Yeah,
grits. I've never had grits, man.
It's corn. It's dry. It's tasteless corn.
The problem is us Cubans, we have that in harina, but it's like flavored. There's harina salada and dulce, which is like a sweet. But I've never had like the grits to me, like the American grits, looks to me just like mixed vomit and like granulated. I'm like, what is it? Like, there's no like. I know people add salt to it. Some people add like syrup. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, oh.
I listened to it. First of all, she's not because the other day her Bluetooth, her phone was connected to the Bluetooth in the car, and I had to listen to it on like the way to McDonald's or something. So I've listened to it. She's a liar, and it sucks. It's a sucky song. Makes no sense.
By the way, I hope you realize your McDonald's in the U.S. Come to Canada and you realize how much your McDonald's sucks compared to the United States. We have much better McDonald's.
I have McDonald's
way better McDonald's here.
I had McDonald's in Europe, and the meat tasted completely different. Like that's what I'm telling.
No, we have better meat in Canada. We have better meat in Canada, and one day you guys will try the delicacy of poutine, and you'll appreciate life.
I'm sorry. This is a PG-13 show. I don't know what you think you're talking about on here, but
it's the number one delicacy in Quebec. Poutine. It's the best thing ever. Greatest thing ever.
Poutine pie. You remember The Rock?
No, he would love the one at McDonald's. You have no idea. My kids. I swear to God, my kids love McDonald's. They will refuse to eat McDonald's in the States. They hate it. Listen,
talking about a creature of habit, my daughter today was asking me, this is the first time she had a PE teacher who was obviously a guy, but this is the first time she's had a regular teacher in her school, 2 teachers that are men. And she asked me today, we were talking, and she says, "Hey Dad, is it normal to feel," I go, "uncomfortable?" She goes, "Yeah, uncomfortable," because she was telling me about her guy teacher, like, because I'm so used to having girl teachers. Is it uncomfortable? I said, and I told her, I said, the thing is that I said, she is a creature of habit. She's not like, you can't just change what her routine is, So I said, it is okay to be uncomfortable, but that's the fun part. You do something that's uncomfortable and you realize, oh my gosh, he might be the best teacher you ever have when, you never realize. Yeah. I said, no, it's totally normal. I said, but you'll get used to it. But that's creature of habit. Everybody is. So is she. Tati's a creature of habit, wakes up and goes back to sleep, I gotta get up for work and goes right back to bed while I'm up and leaving. She's a creature of habit. She poked the bear. I don't give a damn. I ain't scared. I'll tell you what, I ain't scared. I don't care. Her picture's right there. If anything happens to me, y'all see who she is.
Oh, my wife. Yeah, she does this. My wife.
She hates that.
Okay, my wife is super cool. She's diverse in many things, but she is so bland in the things that she'll eat. Like she'll literally have the same breakfast every day. Just like egg whites with like toast, plain toast. And I'm like, plain cream cheese. I'm like, God, bro, everything's so plain. Like everything's like bleh. Like that. We were talking about it the other day. Like the little bleh meme. Remember the emoji movie? It's like, meh. Like, meh.
That's your food?
Like, whatever. What are you going to do today?
Here's a pet peeve. And I'm going back because now you say that. And I saw it today and I'm not. Who's my father alone? I love him. Well, I'm not going to say. My wife probably thinks of something I want to say, but I'm not.
By the way, when Bobby says something and he's like, and he follows it up with a compliment, like a quick compliment, he's about to insult the shit.
I'm not going to do it. No, but it's like, Alex, I love you, but you're a piece of shit. It's like, no, but no, dude. You guys are going to call me crazy because I'm pretty, basic. You talk about her being meh. But, when it comes to food, I'm not somebody who tries things. She knows that because she gets on me too, your wife. But he was making himself a hot dog. And, I mean, he was squeezing every ounce of ketchup when I walked in. And I looked at that hot dog, and I was going to make myself a hot dog today. But there was, I was going to get myself 2 hot dogs. But there was only 1 bun. So I was like, oh, dude, what's the effing point of this? I said, I'm going to go pick me up something to eat. I'm not going to eat. So later in the day, though, I see him. He's making himself a hot dog. I see the 1 bun that was left. He's eating it. Hot dog. You don't even see the hot dog. You see a piece of cheese. You see a bunch of extra, like a pound of whatever in there. And I'm going, my God. I go, like, that's one of my biggest pet peeves is people who put too much shit on their food. It's like, Are you even tasting the hot dog? I mean, at that point, are you getting anything from that? It's the same thing like when you put like, oh, what do you want on your cheese pizza? Man, I want anchovies. I want this. I want that. I want this. Put extra this. Put a pickle on there. You put that. It's like after that, you have a mountain of stuff on there. How can you enjoy the food? And it's not like he just puts relish, cheese, onions, mustard, ketchup. It's a pound of relish, a big thing of cheese, pounds of onion, a whole of mustard. I mean, he was farting the hell out of that ketchup. It's one of my biggest pet peeves with people. It's like when they put so much on their food. It's like, enjoy the meal. I mean, you're eating more of that than you are the food. Alex eats jelly in his hamster. Oh God.
Yeah, I do. Great. Strawberry jelly, ham and cheese, Swiss cheese, ham. Oh, another thing, cantimpalo, which is like it's like pepperoni but bigger.
Oh Jesus,
I
sauerkraut.
don't know how to say. I don't know how to say it in English. I don't know how to say that type of meat. But I love the mix of sweet and sour, and also I love peach jelly. I love jelly in general. I like mixing toast with and I could do like a French baguette with like mayo, a little bit of mustard, cheese. So I love all those.
Whatever. I'm bland. Whatever. Jamila's meh. So I'm bland. Maria and Jamila's blah. So there you go. Whatever. Let me ask.
Man, yes, it's funny. I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich yesterday for the first time in 2 years. I made myself a nice peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
There you go. Hey, that's tasty, dude. I don't think you're ever too old for that. Evan, how could you politely end a conversation with a person who is so annoying?
Yes.
Are you there? There you
I
go.
go, hello, goodbye. How do I?
That's awesome.
How do you end up? I'm just kidding. How do I end up politely? Speak to them in a language they don't understand.
So is that what Tati's doing? Okay.
I speak to them in a language they don't understand.
I go toasted.
Alex, how do you end a conversation with someone who's so annoying?
You just do something like this.
Anyway, guys, we're almost at 2 hours. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. That's how you do. That's how I do it. I just end the damn show. Like, subscribe, Dolphin fans. Most importantly, as always, fins up. Alex, any final words?
No, pretty much. We didn't talk Heat, so we'll talk Heat next week on Tuesday. I'll have an episode of Fast Break, so we can catch up. Obviously, being a little bit dormant, but we'll catch up, and hopefully there's some movement before training camp. But in the meantime, fins up.
Evan, final thoughts?
Gunther still sucks, but Chris Greer might suck more.
Hey, Chad Gable is legit. Give Chad Gable his love, man.
Gunther still really sucks, but Chris Greer might suck more. And if he's not careful, Mike McDaniel will suck even worse.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. If your first time, like, subscribe, and Dolphin fans, fins up.